Many years ago, a meerkat peeked out of the abyssal tunnels from which he was born and spread a message to the world, a message of that which they did not want to hear. It was a typical symptom, if you will. But of course, I understand a certain little demon shall never ever be slandered here. In the world there exists a phoenix, and there's only ever one phoenix. But this golden-colored phoenix seemed to represent the core of stardom to the point of constantly telling everyone she is stardom. Yep, your precious golden phoenix Saya Kamitani was a deceiver, and none of you listen. None. But who is right? Oh, who is Lisan Al-Gaib?
Lisan Al-Gaib?
Call me by my name, Timothy Chalamet, because the Ben Jesuit organized my birth for centuries as I breathed copious amounts of spice while I was given the shining to see the insane Simpsons visions of dogs, Scatman Crothers, and Saya Kamitani being deceiver. And honestly, I would rather have your looks, Timmy. And now that Saya Kamitani has fully turned and joined the evil group Hate, this meerkat is this girl like... And all of you will now congregate around your Chrisette's Hatterack like... This Meercastrodamus saw this Kamitani making faces like this and try to act all hard like this, when in reality, she's like this going, why are you crying? Stop crying. Oh my god, she's still crying. And why are you crying, Kamitani maniacs? Going, and then giving all of Stardom's secrets away. Oh, I'm surprised this world didn't know about Julia leaving far sooner, but probably because no one talks to Kamitani. But I'm getting quite ahead of myself, aren't I? How did this happen? Why did it happen? And does it actually make any sense? I'm sure most of you are already shaking your head going, no. But in order to find out, it's time to explore the career of one Saya Kamitani, aka the deliciously evil origin story of one the deceiver Saya Kamitani, the golden phoenix who lost her shine. Saya Kamitani is a flawed, silly, dramatic phoenix girl, and I honestly love her for it. No meme. I joke because it's incredibly easy to meme on her. She is always so dramatic, and in the world of already dramatic theatrics, she is somehow an edge more dramatic than them. Tam Nakano does theater after every match, and still Kamitani is more dramatic going, how could this happen to me? As a wrestler, she ranges from phenomenal S-tier action to just outright goofy. She's a very wiry wrestler. Her limbs are everywhere, and the little plumes hanging from her don't help at all at hiding this. She reaches for the ropes and submissions like, oh my god, it's so far away. Oh. Does her gymnastics like, what's this flip? Oh. Sometimes she'll take a bump and be like, ow, ah, Phoenix Plus. Oh. One more time, she'd be like, she would have cool-ass Ibushi moves that are awesome that she can even execute. But then she would do like this running shooty star press, and Saya like... Look at her flop. She just flops like, whoops. But then she hits it correctly. But it's funny still because like, wait, there we go. But when everything works for Saya Kamitani, when everything flows beautifully, when the opponent matches her freak, when the story matches, the energy is melded together in glory into a giant crucible of art and performance and wrestling, well, Saya Kamitani can be the perfect professional wrestler. I'm going to stand on this statement and say it again. When everything works with Saya Kamitani, she can be a perfect professional wrestler. She has a remarkable ability of making it look like she just took a bump for the first time. Always so painful looking and unique to Saya Kamitani. Add in the right amount of her emotionally dramatic theatric faces and the way she can make her body like a dry bones in Mario, and you have perfection. Her performances in the Cinderella finals, her match against Tam Nakano for the Wonder of Stardom, her red belt match with Utami Hayashishita, recently in that Ring of Honor 6-woman tag team match, and both her semifinals and the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix. Saya Kamitani's acting can be top-notch. She reminds me a lot of Shelley Duvall. Rest in peace. Shelley Duvall was most famous for The Shining, in a performance that was far overhated. She was brilliant in my opinion, perfectly portraying a delusional woman who was cowed to the point of justifying the abuse of her husband to her son. Because Wendy is obviously a sweet woman, because Shelley Duvall is a sweet woman. It's her eyes. They are so sweet, but they break every time she tries to justify what happened. This is good acting. The over-the-top dramatic moments, it works. Not to dive too far into that tangent, but Saya Kamitani reminds me of Shelley. A sweet woman who has that face that just seemingly feels an edge over dramatic. But that's just her. Saya cries. That's her character. That's not even an exaggeration. She freaking cried a lot. Tam and others cry a lot too, but Saya's cries are ridiculous and noticeable and funny to me, like, but that is who she is. This here, this is her. This is her real self. Everything else that Saya Kamitani does is an act, but unlike Mai Iwatani, who is a goofball outside the ring like, and then in the ring she's Goku. Or unlike Tam Nakano, who is super cute outside, but in the ring is a super cute monster. When Saya Kamitani does the big boss super tough warrior act, to me, it always felt just like that. An act. It's like a vegan cookie. You eat it and maybe the texture is fine, and it has the right amount of sweetness and it certainly looks like a cookie, but there's just something off about the taste. Like it's trying hard to be a cookie, but it's not a cookie. Not out of deceivement either, but rather this is just who she aspires to be. A vegan cookie, no. But she's not, because deep down, she's constantly freaking out. When she's acting tough like this, I don't believe her, because I know underneath that, she's really freaking the fuck out. To me, Saya Kamitani is a really anxious human being with tons of pride and loads of aspirations to be what she says. To be stardom. So, she is the quintessential tryhard in high school, who was quiet and socially awkward. But that's not even a flaw. That was a superpower that made her progress as quickly as she did. But she is scared as hell of failing again and again. As you will see in this video, she loses it all and falls from grace. And I find it beautiful, my friends. I genuinely see a full character in Saya Kamitani, beyond my stupid meme of a Tam Nakano sim angry at the deceiver woman. It's just a meme, but I find the anxiety-driven, scared, sweet, goofy girl forcing herself to be a strong, powerful, confident champion to be such a ubiquitous aspiration. And then she burned it all away in an act of emotional pain. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this feature presentation. Thank you.
Answer me.
What dost thou want?
What canst thou give?
Wouldst thou like the taste of butter? A pretty dress? Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Yes. I cannot write my name.
I will guide thy hand.
It's the finals of Stardom's 2024 5-Star Grand Prix, the annual round-robin tournament for one of the most prestigious tournaments in women's wrestling. Last year's runner-up, the Empress Micah, is looking for revenge against the woman who cost her the World of Stardom title and started chaos amongst the land. Saya Kamitani, the Phenex Queen, she who abandoned herself to enter the depths of darkness. Micah has been her rival since they started in Stardom and has also gatekept her from many big accomplishments. The frustration building as Kamitani screams to the cosmos, losing all sense of self, screaming, Micah. To think she was once a golden phoenix, soaring above the lands in beauty. She was Stardom. A phoenix is a mythological bird that will live for thousands of years before burning itself into the ashes to be reborn again in fiery flames. It's important to note that a phoenix cannot be killed unless it kills itself. It's a highly celebrated figure in mythology to represent reincarnation, hope, transformation, and immortality. But a phoenix, spelled like this, is not a glorious celebrated symbol, nor was it a reference to anything heavenly. Quite the opposite. The Phoenix is a demon, a high marquise amongst the 72 demons listed in the Ars Goetia, a text which, ironically itself, was based on the works of Dutch physician Johann Weyer, who wasn't arguing for its existence, but rather how magically stupid you'd have to be to actually believe in magic or any of this demonology nonsense, and literally made up the 72 demon list based on random sources. It wasn't supposed to be taken seriously, and Kamitani saw Phoenix because, oh, Phoenix! And here we are. The Phoenix is a demon, but isn't a demon. They fell to the depths of darkness but want to return to heaven. They may look like a mangled bird, but they are good inside and are just waiting in penance to one day return to the heavens. Her story is a direct parallel to the Gnostic Sophia, she who created the material world by accident through the creation of the demiurge who controls all world. Her fall and rise is the basis for Gnosis, achieving that transcendent return to the one being. But the difference between the Sophia and the Phoenix is that the Phoenix has been deceived. She will never return to heaven. Our Phoenix took a crown instead, to be queen. Queen of what? Queen of what, sire? In Egyptian lore, the phoenix was originally named Bennu, a large gray heron-type bird associated with rebirth and creation, who birthed itself through the fires of a holy tree in the Temple of Ra, which is metal as hell. It's hard to say whether Saya Kamitani was birthed from the burning fire of a holy tree, you know, because why would I know that? Saya Kamitani was a wide-eyed sweet girl with ambitions to become an idol, an all too familiar story in Joshi. I've recapped many such stories, but Kamitani had more than aspirations. She already had success. In 2009, when Saya was around 13 years old, she came in second with her team Monsoons in the World Hip Hop Dance Competition Junior League. I'm amazed I found footage. Good luck figuring out which one is Kamitani though. Fun fact, Japan is actually the record holder for the first in the World Hip Hop Competition. I even found their original scorecard, barely losing out to the technique from the US. Kamitani would eventually auction for the most popular group in Japan, AKB48, and she passed. However, she was never listed as a member of the group, having floated around in the lower divisions but never fully becoming a member before being released. She was that close to achieving her dreams, but much like many idols I've covered, she found her way into wrestling, and I imagine another timeline where she ended up in the Up Girls instead, and Kamitani was TJPW pilled, facing Rika Tatsumi.
Go to hell! Okay!
But instead, the lore goddess herself, Tam Nakano, was busy completing her major side quests. By this point, Tam was still in Stars, pre-Cosmic Angels, working with hardcore legend Onita on a brand new idea, and partnered with Stardom to see Tam Nakano's vision of pro wrestling come to life. Stardom Idols. A combo of Tam Nakano's idol upbringing with the actress girl's idol training into wrestling, but also deathmatch wrestling, hardcore Tamu. And joining the squad was Tam Nakano's personal idol group, and amongst this class of handpicked idols from Tam Nakano was one, Saya Kamitani. Saya Kamitani, the wide-eyed, ambitious, inspiring idol, got to live her dream on a smaller scale in the world of wrestling. Stardom Idols would produce a couple shows that are pure lost media. If you are watching and you know where it exists, please Please tell me. I searched. I just have the previews. This partnership lasted under a year. The Stardom idols would fold, and Tam Nakano would simply transfer this energy into creating cosmic angels. However, the idols were offered a chance to be trainees, from which only 2 accepted. Along the way, Saya Kamitani fell in love with wrestling and Kota Ibushi, and Tamu was her leader. She would still perform opening numbers, including singing with Yurie Kozakai. Oh, the Kozakai. Here, she is leading the songs. And then years later, Kozakai would be like, Saya Kamitani would debut in Stardom in 2019, but despite Tam Nakano bringing her into this world, she was nowhere in sight. Saya Kamitani faced Momo Watanabe of Queen's Quest in her debut and had honestly one of the better debut matches that I've seen. The national gymnastics and her tall size at 5'6" was quite noticeable, dancing in her entrance like. She would quickly achieve her first victory, albeit through Rina, and would face the likes of Mayu Iwatani in an impressive showing, Natsuko Tora, and oh, this little star's demon, Saki Kashima. Tam Nakano wouldn't become a factor in Saya Kamitani's Stardom life until she met her in the ring, where she would defeat the passionate rookie. Now, Tam Nakano is incredibly cute, yes. This is not a mind-blowing revelation, just look at her. Here's another. But don't be fooled by cuteness. Tam Nakano is an incredibly flawed character, and that's why I personally love her as well, and why she's absolutely one of my favorite women's wrestlers on the planet. Tam lore is deep and goddamn cute, because not crossing paths with Tam Nakano allowed Saya Kamitani to figure herself out. But Tam Nakano's cuteness is a contagion that leads everyone back to Tam Road. Tam wouldn't team with Saya Kamitani at all after this. She was Piccolo, sending the young Gohan into the wild to survive. She would find partnership in fellow rookie Saya Ida, entering the tag league and scored her first ever pinfall against Andres Miyagi with her running shooting star press of deadly knees. She eventually won her first singles match against her fellow idol trainee, Etsuki Hoshino, in the Rookie of Stardom Tournament 2019, then defeated her tag league tag team partner Saya Ida in the finals. The future was bright for Saya Kamitani, but this is Stardom. It's high school anime. Everyone is in a unit and Tam Nakano is still not in the picture. Saya Kamitani needs to join one. She would have her first title match, the Future of Stardom Championship, against champion Utami Hayashishita. Saya Kamitani would fail, and Utami would simply drop the belt anyways because she wants to chase for bigger titles. So like damn, Saya. But Utami would do just that. She would win the 5-star, she would win the World of Stardom Championship. Saya Kamitani always admired Utami, and when offered a spot into Queen's Quest, and in front of Tam Nakano, she accepted the offer. But she always wanted to follow in her footsteps since they were trainees. She chose Utami over the one who brought her into wrestling. She chose love over her creator. First, she has to ask Commander Azumi. Oh, okay. But it's not over. Saya Kamitani wants her fellow idol trainee Hoshino to join her. Again in front of Tam Nakano. Hoshino doesn't even like that Kamitani is putting her on the spot right now, so she rejects her. And to be fair, they didn't really team up much. Instead, Hoshino joins Stars, and Tam Nakano is grateful. You can see how grateful she is that she was chosen. It's a common theme in Tam's career. She has abandonment issues, but Tamu didn't try very hard to keep Kamitani around either. She may have this look of heartbreak on her face from Saya Kamitani, but she simply wasn't there. Regardless, Tam Nakano with a kindly threat? Goodbye? Tam Nakano doesn't live in the past. That's just not in her character. She'll forget about this shortly. Right, Tamu?
今を生きなきゃ未来はつかめない。
Saya Kamitani now had an identity beyond her super sweet self. She was that unique, kinda awkward dancer still, but she had a green mask, loads of growing confidence, and more dramatic poses. She would team with Utami and achieve rapid success, winning the Goddess Tag Team titles from Tokyo Cyber Squad's Konami and Jungle Kiona, utilizing a magic killer, while Utami finished the job. She had gold, she had glory, and she entered the 5-star Grand Prix to face her mentor, one she hadn't seen since joining Queen's Quest in front of her face, Tam Nakano. Tam Nakano has her Twilight Dream theme song, Oh Modern Tamu, is being formed. This time, Saya is able to keep up with Tam Nakano, having grown so much stronger in such a rapid pace and developing further flight in her step, the wheel kick, the screaming, but Tam's still far too strong for knees. Except Saya would deceive Tam and how hurt she was and score a desperate roll-up for the surprise victory, defeating Tam Nakano in the 5-star. Tam in good spirits though. Aww. She would also face Mayu Iwatani for a second time in a much more competitive match, showing tons of passion and fight. Her kick out after Mayu's frog splash was especially inspired, showed how much she wanted to win, the gasping of air after. She would kick out of a German suplex and Mayu would make her tap out with that awesome dragon sleeper she does. Mayu would even stop and look back at Kamitani like,
Hey, kid.
Smiling with me, Coca-Cola as life. Have a Coke.
Thanks, Mean Joe.
Smile.
Saya was growing as a wrestler together with her partner Utami as Aphrodite. With power and strength sourced from each other, it was during a goddess title defense of Aphrodite versus Mai Hime, Micah, and Himeka where Saya Kamitani would debut a new finishing move to take her to the next level. The Phoenix Splash. Inspired by Kota Ibushi, it's highly impressive that she can pull this move off. Despite the rough edges of the move, it's a perfect representation of Saya Kamitani's ambitions. She is so determined and focused to be the future of Stardom. She pulls off a move no one else on the roster could do. Yet, despite declaring herself the future of Stardom, she did not hold that title. That was overtaken by the future Empress, Micah of Donna Del Mondo, who defeated both tall and small Saya to win the future title, while also holding the artist belts. Saya would face Micah for the first time in a singles match for the future of Stardom, where they started to really slug it out and throw bombs to each other, and then Saya would just get triggered into murder Kamitani, slap the hell out of Micah, and go to war against her. And then Saya would flop her shooting star all like, oh. Micah would eventually give her signature superplex, followed by the Enka Atoshi for the victory against Saya. Micah had stopped Saya Kamitani from realizing her ambitions. However, Saya would still go around calling herself the future of Stardom, but would never capture this title. Future of Stardom became a self-affirmation, something that Saya might say in the mirror before going out, seeking that approval that she is the future. So long as I keep saying it. But it's not Saya who is the future. In her final shot for the belt, it was Saya Ida who took the mantle, executing a beautiful diamond dust onto Kamitani right on her head and followed up with her brain buster. Kamitani would leave in defeat. Not only did Kamitani fail to win the future, but she was the one who was pinned. The very next show, the goddess titles were on the line as Aphrodite would face Konami, and oh no, it's Bea Priestley! Bea Priestley! What are you doing in this video? Get out of here, Bea! And not only would they lose the Goddess of Stardom tag team titles to Oedo Tai and Bea Priestley, but Saya Kamitani would be the reason why they lost, tapping out to Konami. Saya ended the year in massive loss. Future of Stardom? Are you sure? Utami Hayashisa's rise was stellar. Her 11th professional wrestling match was the finals of the 2018 5-star Grand Prix against Mayu Iwatani. She wasn't successful, but that has to be the most impressive rise in Joshi. In 2020, she would defeat Mayu Iwatani for the World of Stardom Championship, completing her insane ascension to the top. Contrast that with Saya Kamitani, who couldn't even win the future Stardom titles and was the reason Utami lost the Goddess belts. But now, she has her first shot at the World of Stardom Championship against her partner, Utami Hayashishita. in an excellent match. Utami is so powerful that the dramatics and the rubbery body of Saya Kamitani work so well to dance with. Firing on all cylinders, Kamitani showing that Ibushi influence, having the type of match you don't see often with the high spot encounters executed so well, and nearly getting the victory. The faces of Saya so dramatic and wonderful. She would land her Star Crusher finisher on Utami, but the exhaustion would have Saya crawl in desperation and collapsing on Utami. But she would kick out, leading to this face by Kamitani. It's over. Utami with the hijack bomb, but Saya with the Hurricanrana counter. Beautifully done. Almost gets the victory, and right here is how the over-drama of Saya Kamitani could be so perfect. It's like she knows that this was her last shot. Her body has nothing else to give. Her collapse expressed that perfectly. She would start tearing up, as if knowing it's over. And indeed, Utami, with that much more still to give, finishes Saya off with the hijack bomb and the victory. Saya's face of defeat was so good, the tears flowing, but grateful to her partner still, ending in a hug. Because Stardom is an anime after all. With loss after loss piling on Saya Kamitani, something had to change. She would enter the Cinderella tournament, where the winner wears a pretty princess dress and is granted a wish. It's so incredibly dramatic and a perfect fairy tale story for someone like Saya Kamitani to enter. A wrestler who just needs a big win. She would face Tam Nakano, the Wondrous Stardom champion. No, the Divine Wondrous Stardom champion, beholder of the Holy White Belt. But Saya would eliminate her with this badass Hurricanrana to the outside. Tam was shocked, once again defeated by Kamitani. Saya would next face Starlight Kid in the competitive match, going super high-speed action scene mode like. It was a really fun early match between the two that would come up again in both of their careers, but Saya would score a victory with a counter roll-up at the Cinderella semifinals. She would face the Jumbo Princess Himeka, defeating her with a powerful and highly impressive Star Crusher on the larger queen, entering the finals to face her Stardom rival, Maika. She, who stopped Saya before, and this match is one of Saya Kamitani's best performances in her career. Saya would target the taped leg of Maika, while Maika would Giga Woman through the pain. All of Saya's moves look great, hitting their mark perfectly. The roughness of Saya's style playing their part, eating this huge superplex with this face of torment. I loved how Saya looked like she was fighting through the pain, her emotions flaring up. Maika is clearly stronger, yet Saya Kamitani still finds a way to will pure passion to feel her strength to fight on in this fairy tale of a story indeed, and actually taking Maika off her feet. She would escape the move that defeated her last time, the Enka Atoshi, and add new moves mid-match like this Spanish Fly into the Star Crusher with her loud, passionate wail, not covering Maika, instead going up top to complete her fairy tale story with a perfectly executed Phenex Splash, almost crying instantly knowing that she has won the Cinderella tournament. All of her emotions immediately flooding out. This is her first major cathartic moment of her career in a terrific performance. This is where it's clear that Saya Kamitani was the future of this promotion. Her eyes here, the sweet girl with ambitions to be an idol, has won a big tournament in Stardom and finally defeated Maika to top it off. She would wear the pretty princess dress and would declare her ambitions to win the Wondrous Stardom White Belt from Tam Nakano. However, Tam Nakano, full-on cosmic angel, the cutest in the cosmos. 2021 Tamu is my favorite Tamu. I love her performances so much, and the Divine Wondrous Stardom Belt is her mirror. Tamu needs the Holy White Belt like Ludwig needs his Moonlight Greatsword like. You were at my side. This time, Saya Kamitani is much stronger. They exchange familiar spots. Saya flies as good as I've seen her, and we see that attitude that Saya Kamitani has hidden in her. When she wants to piss someone off, that dormant energy comes out. That's my deceiver there. Slapping each other into oblivion, leading to this excellent encounter right into this moment where they see each other in the middle, grab each other's hands, and lift each other up to have a mega rough fight that brings out some truly wonderful expressions, smacking Saya and Saya like hitting all her special moves, and I love how Saya looks when people kick out of her moves. The absolute agony because she's precisely so freaking dramatic, going for her big Phoenix splash, but oops, nope. Tam would start entering into second phase Nakano mode, but Saya would rise like the slithering snake demon she is, so Tam Nakano has to finish the job with the Twilight Dream. She stops Saya Kamitani's dreams of being the Wonder of Stardom champion, saving the cosmos in the process. Tam Nakano and Saya Kamitani went on different paths, and you can tell Tam Nakano is proud of how strong she has gotten without her influence. And Saya would cry, "Oh, why are you crying?" Tam offers her hand, but once again, Saya Kamitani has rejected Tam Nakano. And heartbroken Tam like. And despite the defiance, Saya Kamitani would collapse into a fetal position, reducing back to that girl who aspired to be an idol, makes her exit from defeat. From the idol who brought her into this world. Life and art meaning like such is when magic is produced. Saya Kamitani would have to test her skills at the 5-star to make it back to a title shot, once again defeating Tam Nakano in the 5-star, scoring 11 points but was spoiled from 13 by Unagi Sayaka. She would earn yet another shot at the Wonder of Stardom at Dream Queendom 2021, but an emotional shakeup would blight Queen's quest when Momo Watanabe betrayed them to join Oedo Tai, abandoning her leadership to be free of expectations and ambitions, to just exist. At the Dream Queendom, Saya Kamitani would face Tam Nakano in her 7th defense of the Holy White Belt, and yes, this was the moment that Saya Kamitani shattered the Elden Ring and brought disparity upon the world of Stardom. No, that's just a meme. This is one of Saya Kamitani and Tam Nakano's best matches. Saya Kamitani's performance was top 3 in her career in my opinion. Kamitani brought out some hella inspired spots with that deceiver face of hers, pull out some Ibushi moves on Tamu and almost killing her. And Tam would kill Kamitani, and then Kamitani would dodge a knee strike with a counter double stomp because pro wrestling is awesome and cool. Once again, they would meet in the middle with beautiful emotional faces, Saya in particular really killing it, and they start kicking each other, and Saya has probably the best reaction she's ever given. It's the bulging of the eyes. This match was a great example of when everything is firing on all cylinders and all the bullets are hitting their marks. Saya Kamitani is a perfect pro wrestler, and she was that in this match. She would kick out of the tiger suplex, and Tam's shocked face was barely caught on camera but was amazing, leading into a tippy-toes violet screwdriver into the Twilight Dream. But fate itself, perhaps the Wonder of Stardom belt, cried out for a new champion and brought Saya to those ropes. With all cylinders fired from Tam, Saya just has to finish the job, fight that much harder, but Nakano hits her second phase, forcing the Phoenix to enter her second phase for the first time and bust out a new move out of nowhere with the schoolboy into the suplex. Super Saya with her war cry, landing her Star Crusher, and then up top for her Phoenix Splash to win the Wonder of Stardom Championship. She has done it. She has reached the top. She has beaten Tam Nakano, the woman who brought her into this world and is champion. Despite the loss, the ever-gracious Tamu would ask to hold her baby one more time. And their expressions were excellent. An excellent example of the theatric post-match drama that I love so much about Stardom. Phenomenal work from these two. Tam has passed the lineage over to her. The Phoenix has risen to the top. Finally, Saya Kamitani will have her grand moment. The moment she dreamed of. And, oh hi Unagi! 15 defenses, 480 days, Saya Kamitani became the most prestigious champion with her white belt reign, filled with excellent performances, with the story being Saya Kamitani seeking retribution against those who have defeated her, gaining the confidence and maturity to be a strong champion, overcoming her own self-doubt from a growing number of dissident hate toward her, and toppling Momo Watanabe's record as revenge for her betrayal. Starting with Unagi Sayaka, she who spoiled her chance at the 5-star finals and then top it off. Unagi has no idea about social cues and barged into a celebration. Oh, how dare she! How dare she! Unagi Sayaka, the assessor of stardom, will assess whether Kamitani is worthy of that belt. But Kamitani is someone who is driven by emotion. It's highly appropriate that she won the belt of emotion, the belt that requires severe passion to withstand it. And Saya's still pissed at Unagi for crashing her party. The whole point of the match was to showcase Saya Kamitani's style of a wonder match, where she displays furious aggression, loads of emotion, loads of drama, and express how she paces her matches with her big moves. Unagi herself got to show her unique moveset and overall demeanor, but she was there to make Saya look awesome, and Saya herself subverting her old ways of winning with a small package directly into the Star Crusher, and then hits her Phenex Splash with her knees, crushing Unagi. Oh, yikes! Regardless of crushing the soul of Unagi Sayaka, Saya Kamitani passed the assessment and her very first defense. Afterwards, she tries to be a genuine champion like Tam before her. But like I said in the beginning, this is the period where Saya Kamitani's Super Saya Strong Powerful Champion act felt like an act to fake it till she made it. And Unagi seemingly recognizes that, and you can briefly see the flared up eyes on Saya as she holds down Unagi. It's an interesting character moment that speaks volumes in retrospect. Her next defense was against a tiny, cute fairy woman who goes, "Nuts boy." The next defense for the white belt was excellent. You got super serious Saya Kamitani being super serious. And you got the cute fairy who goes, who then turns into a killer. You got Saya like, whoop, 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 and whoop. And then Nuts Boy and Saya Boy have a little high-speed boy that is cute, and you remember that both of these boy are dancers for a reason. But then Saya has this face, like she practiced it in the mirror, and then does a kip-up counter and goes like, yeah! I really like this match. Highly competitive, big memorable spots, Saya flying right into Boy's face. Incredible drama built between the two as they mirror the Tam Nakano Kamitani, meet in the middle, hold hands, and beat the Boy out of each other. Nuts Boy was perfect. All her poise were flawless, simply a fairy gift of a wrestler, and was 100% overdue for her recent white belt victory. And Saya performed her role well. She always moves so unique. Her athletics are never graceful like the Golden Phoenix moniker would suggest, but rough, like it takes pure will to pull off, and yet still effortless. And the end result, when perfectly done, is just beauty. Phenex Splash earned her second defense of the white belt, and Boy would have to wait that much longer for her crowning. But this time, Saya Kamitani would get the respect back from Nuts Boy. Saya would awkwardly announce her next challengers. She wants to beat Utami Hayashishita. And then, oh hi Tam! But first, she has to get past Utami, the Red Queen, former World of Stardom champion, and Saya like,
over the top, bro.
This was a match about Saya finding the strength to overcome a powerful champion warrior like Utami, who hits hard, has so much power, and has defeated Kamitani before. She would surprise Utami, hit a viciously cool Frankensteiner outside, and then escape the hijack bomb to spam Utami with kicks, hit her Star Crusher, and then land a Phenex Splash beautifully on Utami to defeat her. Her face of surprise here was great. You can see the anime monologue going through her head as she finally defeats her Aphrodite partner. Big moment for Saya. I did think the red belt match was better, however. But now Saya has Tamu right after with very little rest. The completion of a white belt trilogy. And while I liked their second match better, this was still powerful. A quintessential Tam Nakano performance where they continue their ever-continuous callbacks to their prior encounters. But the underdog in this particular story is not Saya Kamitani. It's Tam Nakano. She has more losses to Saya Kamitani than Saya does to her. It's Tam with something to prove, but Saya is fresh off a tough battle with Utami the day before. With the drama set, the match plays out the Saya Kamitani big match formula beautifully, with added huge holy Shida moments like crazy Tamu taking a top rope Frankensteiner to the outside from Saya. Like Tangent, you know Saya Kamitani is an Ibushi stand when she pulls out the Ibushi Omega 2012 Budokan spot, and then Tamu outdoes that spot by using pure spectacle to wield a huge cosmic dive.
Oh my god!
They have Tam's classic sit in the middle and be dramatic as hell that always works so perfectly when these two are the dance partners, evolving like Super Saiyans in front of everyone, and then Saya missing the Phoenix like whoops! Unfortunately, the match would just suddenly end with a recall of the first time Saya Kamitani defeated Tam Nakano. Through the skin of her teeth, Saya Kamitani defeated Tam Nakano. The story being that Saya defeated both Utami and Tam Nakano in back-to-back days. Her fifth challenger was her rival, Micah, arriving like a From Software boss complete with a cutscene. The drama in this match was palpable due to the stress stemming beneath the exterior of Saya's confident faces, because she knows Micah can very much beat her, and she totally 100% rejected her kiss and slapped her after, but it's been a long time since Kamitani lost to Micah for the future belt. Micah has since reverted to tag team wrestling and being the muscle of Donald Del Mondo, while Kamitani succeeded in her singles career and is very much closer to being the future of Stardom than Micah was at this point. This devastating superplex with the overacting of Saya works so well with a powerhouse like Micah. Always terrific opponents for each other, but Micah has to evolve in order to beat Saya, hit bigger innovative moves, but look at the strength and power of Saya Kamitani. A Star Crusher usually doesn't work in the big match Kamitani formula, but instead of hitting the Phoenix Splash after, she hits the Firebird 450 Splash before landing the big Phoenix Splash. These two are very important rivals to each other's growth in Stardom, and Micah swears she won't give up until she defeats her. Her next match is against the Cinderella winner, Mirai, she who wants to prove to everyone that she has a soul, and her soul reveals itself when she's wrestling like, look at my personality! It was a big complaint about Mirai around this time, but I always thought she had tons of energy and tons of fighting spirit as a wrestler. And as a personality, she has got that smile. I don't care. This was around the time period Mirai won me over, and she showed it in this match. Despite the formula running the same, the variations of the submission powerhouse of Mirai made it a battle of styles, leading into the murder position where they killed each other with strikes. The significant moment of overconfidence happened with Saya's Star Crusher into the Phoenix Splash attempt, completely missed in a big blunder as Mirai immediately snatched the arm of Saya. I love the look she gave Daichi. Reaching the ropes, Mirai would hit her Miramari finisher, but Kamitani still kicking out in what might be the first time someone kicked out of that move. The final portion was a very intense Saya Kamitani turning Super Saya and destroying Mirai with a Star Crusher into the Phoenix Splash to end the match, crushing Mirai's Cinderella dream just like Micah did to her. Saya, so proud of herself, but so impressed with the soul of Mirai. Her seventh defense would be against Starlight Kid, she, whose story in Stardom is that of many defeats before winning her goal. 7 times for the artist, 8 times for the high-speed belt. On her 3rd try for the white belt, the Black Tiger swears to eat the taller bird. It's that scene from Batman Returns, but instead of Michelle Pfeiffer, we have this little bitch. This one stood out not for just being good, because it's Starlight Kid, but because it broke the formula. It just starts. They're not building to an epic, they're going out of bounds. Kid is a little meanie. Kamitani tries to act all cool, but forgot about her knee. Oh, Starlight would wreak havoc on that knee, using all the dirty tricks of a Oedo Tai, forcing Saya to bring out that aggression, her rubbery, lanky, Gumby self trying to bring it back in control, but Kid's chaos throwing Saya off her game, now building to how Saya Kamitani would find a way to overcome the pain of her knee and the talent and skill of Starlight Kid. It wasn't perfect, as Kamitani would try some counters that would have been insane if she'd landed perfectly, but her knee is also dead, so the roughness fit regardless. It felt scrappy, intense, the brutality that much more visceral, and Saya would hit one of her best Phoenix Splashes on Kid to end the match with this face of exhaustion. It was amazing. Just collapse in dramatic fashion, Saya. There you go, there's my drama queen. The 8th defense was against Saki. Too cool for 2 names, just Saki. Saki of Colors and Cosmic Angels, the well-traveled freelancer, seasoned veteran who wrestles many styles effortlessly, will enter the dramatic zone of Saya Kamitani, and this quickly broke down, with Saki challenging Saya with different moves than she's used to. And indeed, Saki has a wide list of them that you don't see in Stardom that she stacks on top of Saya, including her awesome running brainbuster that looked devastating. Saya had to avoid death, counter into some impressive strength to hit her finishing move into another perfectly done Phenex Splash. From here, Saya declares that she wants to take revenge on Momo Watanabe's betrayal by surpassing her defense record.
Okay.
With an end journey ahead of us, Saya must face a much larger and stronger opponent. The 9th defense against Himeka, the jumbo princess with her 90s hair salon style music. Oh, hi Himeka. The larger, stronger lariat machine against the squirrely, spastic Saya. She took Saya to the limit and would kick out of both the Star Crusher and Saya's Firebird Splash, and then died to Himeka, dropping straight down in a vicious powerbomb. She would land 2 more incredible powerbombs, including her running powerbomb, but the spirit of Saya fights on, the mind always willing, but the body of Saya is dead now. She had to be a crafty phoenix and reverse into a counter to score the victory by the absolute skin of her teeth. Speaking of teeth, or, well, broken teeth, it's Mina Shirakawa! Mina, who defeated Saya Kamitani in the 5-star, had entered an arc of becoming a better wrestler. She utilized her figure 4 leg lock to change her approach to wrestling matches, ending in much better outcomes and leading to the Mina we know today. The support for Mina Shirakawa was strong coming into this match, and unfortunately was marred by an ugly finish where Saya Kamitani messed up her Phenex Splash. So she went up and did it again, and had a very unfortunate, brutal accident to Mina Shirakawa, busting her teeth and shelving Mina for a while. It's a shame because the match was very good up to this point. Mina building the drama by targeting the knee of Saya, dissecting her like it's a science, and Saya showed so much heart in this fight, latching onto the bottom rope like a lifeline after escaping the figure 4, and inspired stuff. This top rope DT was vicious. The way Kamitani squirmed, her limbs stiffened when Mina had the figure 4 on the second time, and her face here, grabbing the ref, scrambling in an excellent performance of desperation. The ending will always be remembered over this match though, but it led to this brutal yet sympathetic badass visual on Mina here. And then she cut a classic passionate promo backstage while bleeding from her mouth. This was an unfortunate accident, and is both unfortunate and an accident, because Saya has hit the Phenex Splash properly many times, while only goofing when missing or early on when she crushed the sternum of Unagi. It's a dangerous move, but it's also unfortunate, because this is when the turn on the audience came for Saya. She would begin to receive hate on social media from fans, strong Mina Shirakawa supremacy supporters who bashed her and claimed her unsafe. This would begin to affect Saya Kamitani, who swore to never do the Phenex Splash ever again. Doubt had flooded her already anxious, stressful mind. She completely collapsed when challenged by the Pirate Queen Kairi, here crying on the mat, revealing the absolute core of Saya Kamitani. This is Saya. This scared girl knows she's not mature enough to handle the pressure as champion, but she's gonna do it anyways. That's the ubiquity of Saya Kamitani. Deep down inside, she is always freaking out, but on the outside, she's still freaking out, but she's being an absolute tryhard, not out of inauthenticity or to deceive you, but because that's who she wants to be, because she wants to succeed at the highest level. Therefore, this is who she must be to do so, because the other option is just me crying on the mat. I want something. Therefore, this is what I gotta become. We're gonna come back to that. Kairi would challenge the insecurities of Kamitani, and the 11th defense was less of a title match and far more of an introspective journey for Kamitani. finding both the courage and the confidence to kill that self-doubt. And even though she eliminated the Phenex Splash out of fear, she still has her Firebird. And perhaps this hesitation for not busting out the Phoenix is why this match went to a time limit draw. But regardless, Saya Kamitani was Kairi's equal. And that's when Kairi realized that Saya is just who she is. The white belt is in good hands. And oh, Saya, why you gotta be so socially awkward? Her 12th defense was quite the random defense on paper against Haruka Umasaki of Diana. I don't recall the lore and the match was fine, but what I found interesting was the lack of the Phenex Splash meant Kamitani's endgame was far more vulnerable. She missed the Firebird and had to respond with a quick high-speed Frankensteiner for the victory. Her 13th defense to tie Momo Watanabe was relatively uneventful against Ame Sore. Due to the obviousness of Saya's victory, Saya hadn't beaten Ame and was basically being like Apollo Creed, offering a shot at a new opponent. It was a fine match, and she would find victory with the Firebird Splash. Now that Saya Kamitani had tied Momo Watanabe's record, it was finally time to complete her quest and shatter her record. What I loved about Momo Watanabe during this whole feud is that Momo did not seem to care one single bit about the white belt. Oh, Momo. So filled with apathy. In this match to hurt Kamitani because she's a sadist. Record? Pfft, that's in the past. Momo shed her past and has been free of these petty ambitions, unlike Saya Kamitani, who was declaring, "I am Stardom." Momo has a baseball bat, think she cares, and a
little bitch.
to aid her, as well as a perfect aim to the flying bird like. And Saya returns like. And then Kamitani destroys her knees like this, like, jeez, my god, I felt that in my knees, ow. This was a great match. I mean, it has Momo Watanabe in it. I don't make the rules. Saya was an action star and bumping in a distinct painful Kamitani way. Momo kicking the crap out of her and Saya slithering back up like a snake demon. Saya would even hit a peach sunrise, followed by the Star Crusher, and is shocked with this face of pure friggin' drama right here, leading to her taking flight to defeat Momo and reach 14 defenses. And when Saya does her little post-match drama, seeking any reaction from Momo, well, Momo don't give a damn. She don't care about that title. She's mad that she lost to you. Saya Kamitani's goal now is to meet Mina Shirakawa and defend her honor against her. But first, she has to face a woman who just cannot reach that title level. Hazuki. And this match slapped! It was amazing, still is. Wild Heart Hazuki brought such fierce banshee energy and fight, the stiffness and aggression, the intensity in the heart of the battle. It was just dope. Hazuki gave an incredible performance, and Kamitani showed her champion spirit by kicking out the brainbuster that people just do not do. She stood her ground well. All her moves and expressions worked perfectly. She was amazing in here. This moment where they met at the opposite ends in full charge, but Kamitani was the quicker fighter. Hazuki would still kick out of a Star Crusher and a Firebird Splash, but Kamitani wouldn't falter. She wouldn't freak out and potentially lose. She didn't even think about it. She just straight went to another Star Crusher, into another, for the victory. Bell to bell. This is Saya Kamitani's best Wondrous Stardom match, might be her best match, but my personal favorite performance from Saya Kamitani's Wonder Reign is the very next match. The last match in her incredible run. Day 480. All-Star Grand Queendom against Mina Shirakawa. Mina didn't technically lose in the last match. As she says, that wasn't a Phenex Splash, and she did kick out of it. And she pokes right at Saya's insecurities toward the Phenex Splash. The fans that taunted her, the hate she had received, all her doubt was played against her in this match while also having a well-executed technical strategy from Mina Shirakawa, who is equally an emotive wrestler who communicates non-verbally in cinematic ways. I've celebrated her white belt victory before in a video. It was cathartic, but Saya was perfect in this match. The way she reached for Daichi as she was wailing from the figure 4 leg lock was beautiful. A high-pitched wail to sell it home. And look at this super subtle moment where she passes out and quickly snaps back to it. That is insane acting, Saya. The final moments with Daichi as she seemingly reverts back to a child, just seeking help from a father, looking for consolation, and finding the spirit to reach for the ropes on her own. It's one of the best submission acting spots that I can remember. Incredible! The story itself was about Saya overcoming her own self-doubt about the Phoenix Splash, because remember, underneath this record-breaking god champion is a deeply scared, wide-eyed sweet girl who just wanted to be an idol. And when confronted with the Phoenix Splash, she hesitates and nearly loses for it. But what I loved about this story is that Saya Kamitani does succeed in finishing her story. She reaches catharsis and hits the Phoenix Splash perfectly on Mina. She did it. She overcame herself. That is incredibly rewarding. And what does she receive? Nothing. Mina kicks out still. That is incredible writing. Despite Saya Kamitani doing everything right, working her ass off to win the white belt, defended honorably 15 times for 480 days to break the record of most defenses in a single reign, and elevating the white belt into an elite caliber belt, and even overcoming her own freaking shadow self yelling at her that she is not good enough to hit the Phoenix Splash anymore, and she does it anyways. That should be the end of the movie. But she is harshly punished anyways by losing to Mina Shirakawa, because life is cruel. This cry of pain is filled with more despair than just simply losing a title. And arguably, Saya Kamitani hasn't recovered from it. Despite the loss, Saya Kamitani was still seemingly destined to win the 2023 5-Star Grand Prix. But first, she had to get over a relationship problem. Utami and Saya had been bickering and during an all-out war with Oedo Tai versus Queen's Quest as well. Momo Watanabe decided to take advantage and attempt to seduce Saya Kamitani to the dark side of Oedo Tai. It was during a classic cage match, Unit Warfare, Oedo Tai, led by Natsuko Tora, versus Queen's Quest, led by Utami Hayashishita. The last one in the cage will be forced to leave the unit. It was insane drama and so well crafted and paced, everyone getting their moment in and leading into a beautiful scene where Utami was out of strength and needed Kamitani to pull her up and out of the cage. But Momo, with the ultimatum, the baseball bat, your choice, Saya. In retrospect, Saya could have easily betrayed Utami here, but that's not the story. The love for Utami was too powerful, and Kamitani chose to send Momo back to the evil she chose and remain with Queen's Quest. Utami even apologizes to Kamitani, and they make up. The love story continues, the happy family embraces, and Kashima gets kicked out of Oedo Tai. Saya Kamitani, with love saved and a clear path forward, would enter the 5-star with all eyes on her to win the whole tournament. But fate would seem to have other plans. Saya would injure herself on the opening day with an unnecessary dive from far above. As tragic and truly awful as this was for Saya to experience, this was a moment where art imitates life. How serendipitous that this major traumatic injury, terribly timed to a potential major victory, would happen to Saya with the one person who brought her into this world. Tam Nakano. Life is strange in this way. It works in absurd, cosmic ways. And then a giant Megasis appears. Oh, not the Megasis, the Megasis! See, Utami is a great partner indeed, for Saya Kamitani was injured in a Tam Nakano match, and Megasis just so happened to follow Utami home, like a lost puppy from the lands of Megasussenton. So Utami seeks revenge for her lover by sending this gargantuan Amazonian Megan after this cute creature and kills her with a goddamn Meg 5. The Megasis! The Megasis! When the Phoenix returned with a mended wing, it was teaming with her partner Utami Hayashishita and her commander Azumi, Queen's Quest, a match that went to a classic time limit draw, of course. They would quickly rebound and capture the Goddess Tag Team Championships from Divine Kingdom's Megan Bane, aka Megasis, the Megasis, and Saya Kamitani's rival, Micah. Utami would slay the Amazonian Xena Giga Woman with the goddamn German suplex, as smooth as they get. Afterwards, Aphrodite would face Oedo Tai's Momo Watanabe and Natsuko Tora and successfully defeated them both together like good anime lovers do. Saya Kamitani would build her momentum to rise back to her peak and challenge the red belt champion, Maika, who would ascend past Saya Kamitani just like she did when she first won the Future of Stardom belt. Saya Kamitani has to return back to that golden phoenix she once was, while the ever-strong Maika targets the injured arm that took her out. Maika has evolved so much, even her moves reflecting this with the superplex of before, with added several suplex combos to follow after. And even using Himeka's signature running powerbomb on Saya. The way Saya wiggles her fingers to bring herself back. The final act featuring Saya raging into Super Saya mode to bring back that fire of the Golden Phoenix, continuously rising and rising, building that infernal flame toward her rival. But Maika would douse those embers with a Michinoku driver after Michinoku driver, and even the wrist clutch variant, because if you want to make a move stronger, you add a wrist clutch. I don't make the rules. Once again, Maika has stopped the ascent of Saya Kamitani. She is just that much better than her now. But this time, Saya Kamitani isn't crying on the floor in massive pain and drama, pure desolation over her own failures. This time, Saya Kamitani is livid. A much different attitude to big matches than Saya has ever shown before. The loss would continue as Aphrodite would lose their titles to Crazy Stars Mei, Sarah, and Suzu Suzuki, who defeated Utami with a German. Still no tears to flow, no emotion really. I thought that was interesting. This was around the time Utami was announced to be leaving for Marigold, and she would have her final match teaming with Saya Kamitani against Saya Ida and Maika. A super lore heavy match. This time, Saya Ida would be the one to put away Utami Hayashishita. But the night wasn't over. Saya Kamitani would deliver her speech to Utami, and they would enter into a short expedition match between the two to send off Utami from the world of Stardom, ending the match in a draw as Saya Kamitani lets all of her frustrations out on Utami, who just lays there, takes it, and finally hugs her partner, collapsing on her as her final farewell from this world into the flower fields. Saya Kamitani is now alone and would certainly handle this situation well.
Go to hell! Okay.
With losses surrounding her, Saya Kamitani would enter the high-speed division and take the title away from Saki Kashima. I made a video, no need to recap, but Saya Kamitani is now the high-speed Phoenix, who has retired her Phoenix Splash completely. With the newly recently returned Konami betraying Shuri, and Momo and Tekla holding the Goddess titles, Rina as the future, Oedo Tai is starting to build themselves back up. With Utami gone, Saya Kamitani became rather bold. All of Queen's Quest versus Oedo Tai, and yet another Losers Leave unit match. Confident Kamitani didn't even bother reading the contract, and apparently neither did Okada, or any of the Stardom lawyers, because Natsuko Tora rewrote the contract to make the match a loser disbands their unit. All or nothing gamble. Saya Kamitani has not just gotten herself in quite a mess, but her entire unit as well. Whew, that's a major screw up.
Thank you.
It's Oedo Tai, Uwaka, Rina, Tekla, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora versus Queen's Quest, Hina, Miyu Amasaki, Lady C, Azumi, and Saya Kamitani. The stage is set. Emotions will be high. All out war. Only one unit will leave intact, mirroring this prior cage match like this. Lady C will be the first catastrophe to fall after taking on the ultra-violent, aggressive combat foul-mouthed Mamacita Tekla, who destroys her. Rina would follow and eliminate Big Kevin from the match. Hina would eliminate her sister. Oh, Mom, the children are fighting again. But Uwaka would strike back and eliminate Hina, leaving just Azumi and Saya Kamitani to defend Queen's Quest. Azumi, of course, the ever-zoomy Zoomster, the commander of Queen's Quest, the ultra-badass super elite talent, moving her little Azumi off. Tekla would try to kill her in a spider trap and suplex her like this, and then do this, and like, My God. Tekla would try to cheat, and Azumi would handle the situation with an Azumi sushi. Together, Saya and Azumi would work so well, they would make a great tag team if they wanted to. But Natsuko Tora would poison Azumi with the mist, but Green Azumi counted Momo. Saya would get destroyed by Natsuko before she can eliminate them, and Azumi would say screw it and sacrifices herself to eliminate the Black Peach. It's just Natsuko and Saya Kamitani, the two leaders, the drama at its highest. Saya Kamitani can defend her unit like all the great leaders before her. But Oedo Tai, of course they cheat, so Queen's Quest does too. It's a full-on Marvel movie, so much suspense, leading to the big moment when Momo misses Saya with the bat, stares at Tora, and then strikes her. Momo returns to Queen's Quest. In the corner contemplating her decision, the tides have turned now. All of Queen's Quest strike Saya to finish the job with Momo Watanabe, she who faced Saya in her debut, teaming up again. Star Crusher ends it with Waka with the aim like. And then the classic movie moment, Momo, foot on the chair, returning full circle from the moment she did the same to Azumi. But nah, fuck you, Saya. Oh, Natsuko kill Saya, and up top for the Swanton Bomb. Holy Shida, Saya Kamitani failed big time. Momo Watanabe deceived you. Natsuko Tora and Momo Watanabe have burned Queen's Quest to the ground. Saya Kamitani bit more than she can chew, and for the first time since her return, she cries. And it's not dramatic. It's no Cry-a-Tani moment. No. She fucked up big time. Even the clown mocks you in your lowest moments. Like, where do you go now? So Kamitani pours her heartbroken self out, and it's really well delivered. And she simply leaves her group, takes the flag, and tries not to break down completely. Queen's Quest, the legendary Stardom unit started by Io Shirai, is dead, and Saya Kamitani, as leader, will have to take the blame. I ask now, can you understand her for what happens next? With Queen's Quest dead, Saya Kamitani would still carry the flag of her unit with her, with perhaps a promise to rebuild. She remains optimistic and was taken in by Micah of all people, her rival, who by now respects Kamitani for her fighting spirit and how much they mean to their own growth. Saya is still the high-speed champion. She's entering the 5-star with high expectations again, and surprisingly, she entered the Catch the Wave tournament. The Catch the Wave is the annual round-robin tournament of Pro Wrestling Wave, a prestigious tournament previously won by quality names, twice by Rina Yamashita, as well as Veni, Suzu Suzuki, Miyuki Takase, Takumi Iroha, Akaru Shida, and Kana. Saya would lose only to Risa Sera and defeat her in the rematch to break the tie to enter the semifinals, where she defeated Itsuki Aoki, and then in the finals against Kohaku, where she won their prestigious tournament and proved something huge for her. She can still win high elite matches and tournaments. She can win the 5-star. The last pay-per-view before the 5-star, Saya would defend her high-speed title. Fresh off her Catch the Wave elite win, she will face Mei Seira. Surely, Big Match Saya can do this. Nope. Big Match Saya is not equipped for high-quality, high-speed matches. It's a different style, different ways to end the match, and it's not about powering through with fighting spirit, but just being craftier, quicker, and more technical. And Mei Seira is damn good at this, winning with her innovative reverse Ketsukurado to earn back her high-speed victory. But Saya wouldn't get mad. Disappointed, yes, but she's not beating herself up over it. Instead, she just smiles and leaves quietly with Micah, herself with a huge match later. Micah versus Natsuko Tora for the World of Stardom Championship. Several times in this match, Saya Kamitani can be seen cheering on Micah, visibly in the shot even, making her presence known, her looks of concern. Not so believable though. A bit deceiving. Maika has the match in the bag, but Saya Kamitani would suddenly yank Daichi out of that ring. The world is shocked, but as soon as she did it, instantly her attitude shifted, her body language relaxed. They booed her and she just reveled in it. Natsuko Tora would eventually spit the sleeping blue mist into the betrayed Maika's face, symbolic for Maika was asleep to Kamitani's motivations. Why would she join you, Maika? You are rivals. Did you not see that look she gave you in the beginning of 2024? With that, Natsuko Tora has won the World of Stardom Championship, and Stardom fans go,
What the fuck?
Saya Kamitani would join Oedo Tai, the very group that burned her unit to the ground, and shockingly, Natsuko Tora would end the Oedo Tai name and rebrand into this episode's sponsor. Do you like rebranding your products so you have total creative ownership and disregard the past management? Call it hate. H-A-T-E. Hate. Harass, abuse, terrorize, eradicate. Hate. Fill your lives with hate. Just enter the code Meerkat Nada for absolutely nothing off. Absolutely nothing. You just wasted your time. Only a phoenix would kill herself to begin rebirth. Saya Kamitani has burned the golden phoenix away, her past eradicated, but will not return to be reborn in the ashes. Instead, she has become the Phenex Queen, the demon who fell from grace. The Phoenix is a demon who fell from heaven but is not malevolent. They desperately want to return to heaven, so will wait in penance until they can return. But they were deceived of hope. They will never be able to return. Dark Souls games taught me not to take the choices people make for names lightly. If Saya Kamitani chose an incredibly obscure demon from the Ars Goretia, even if it just sounded close to Phoenix, she probably read what it was. If Saya Kamitani follows the lore of the Phoenix as it's written, you have gold, a complete Joseph Campbell hero's journey. Because Kamitani had doubts from everyone, fans and costumers alike, that she'd just be a dramatic try-hard wearing Hot Topic clothes, and that's exactly what she chose as her street gear.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Just clothes that I honestly wore in high school, early college, just like without the choker and a Duran gray shirt, but the eyeliner, the hair, those socks, I can't get over the socks. She's so silly and ridiculous. I love it. It was better than I anticipated. Then she was granted her in-ring gear, a dark mirror of her Phoenix gear, just as it should be. It's gorgeous. She's stunning. She's reflecting God, and this new attitude has freed her completely. The over-dramatic actions of this goofy woman played to the character. Her wiry, slender, rubbery, Gumby self is perfect for a heel. Even the way she smiles is different. She clearly practiced in the mirror. Stylistically, she's far more aggressive now. Goes, shh. She's willing to be mean and cheat. Common Oedo type, hate stuff. But what's interesting about her, other than her moves having a slightly more oomph to them, is she's just being edgy like a 2005 scene kid and still try hard material. And that is the reason why I think it works so well, because Saya Kamitani's Phenex Queen, like her super tough, confident face, is still seeking approval. She's looking at the audience for their hate. She's looking for attention. A couple of months into her return, Saya Kamitani was confronted by an angry fan who kept harassing her and wanted to make her cry. Just cry. 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 The incident stuck with Saya Kamitani. If this is how the Stardom audience feels, if they hate me so much they just want to see me fail and cry, well, I will never cry again. I will make them hate me. And oh, she's out here looking at the audience doing the Ankame taunt that children do that. Oh, she cannot be serious. This is my deceiver, people. Just as the spice-filled hallucinations promised, Saya Kamitani cost Maika her title, burned Queen's Crest to the ground, and is out here pulling her eye down like meh. She was never meant to be this ultimate badass villain, the top heel. No, she's still doing springboards like, look at me! Momo just awoke the natural violence that lurks within her. Starlight Kid was free to explore the natural confidence that already existed in her. Natsuko Tora is freaking evil. But Saya? Saya is now free of her expectations, the self-doubt, and the anxiety. I am Stardom. She doesn't have to be anymore. She's free of that responsibility. She will never cry like this again. But what did it naturally unlock in her? Her angst. All her frustrations and dark thoughts had to go somewhere. It's very high school, but a wide-eyed sweet girl who wanted to be an idol would definitely have a goth face in her late 20s. She would enter the 5-star Grand Prix with more hype than ever before. First, she had to face Risa Sera in their third match, and Saya Kamitani would score the victory. She would face Tekla next, her hate unit mate, and they would do what the sadists always do and beat the hell out of each other to earn respect. Saya Kamitani would win with her newly buffed Star Crusher and earn Tekla's respect like, yeah, you belong.
See you soon!
She would defeat the young God's Eye member Rana Yagami again with her buffed Star Crusher in a dominant manner, and Rana would just have this face. But then would have to finally go one-on-one with Saki Kashima, the protector of Shuri, who was still angry at hate for Konami's betrayal. Plus, Kamitani stole her precious low-speed title away. How dare you? Kashima doesn't even try to pull any tricks. Instead, it's Saya who pulls devious antics on Kashima. Why? Because it's right in front of the crowd. Look at me, people! Look at me! Die! But you don't give this tricksy little hobbit any room to recover, because even on the brink of death, she will Kishi Kaisi you, Saya. You reap where you sow, Saya. She next faced last year's winner, Suzu Suzuki, who beat Kamitani in their last meeting in the 2022 5-star. Saya still seeking approval, flying for the applause, absorbing the pain and relishing in it. Much different than how she used to power up, using any means necessary to get an advantage. Saya's movement being much quicker, confident, never graceful, she never was, but the slick shine on the obsidian black gear with her movements look sick. She would avenge her loss by kicking out of Suzu's rolling German finisher and looked like a freaking demon possessed by the desire for vengeance, hitting the Star Crusher to defeat last year's champion, the spot she was destined to have, to further solidify that her choices were correct. The darkness has made her better. It runs parallel to the dark descent of TJPW's Hyper Misao as Misao, the superhero who thought she needed to join the dark side in order to succeed. Yes, it's also very Anakin Skywalker, but Saya never went.
What have I done?
She heads into the next match against the Cinderella winner Hanan, who just attacks right away. It's a competitive match with Saya-isms all throughout, and I begin to notice how Saya has toned her selling down a tad. The normal rubbery bounce off everything at 100 miles is much more subdued. Look at her take the famouser and act like her head was taken off. Hanan would fight through Kamitani and spam backdrop drivers to put her away, forcing Kamitani into a must-win scenario. She has to beat Starlight Kid in Shinjuku Face, or she will lose the 5-star. And in this darker, more underlit than usual Shinjuku Face venue, this music venue converted into a wrestling ring with an intimate hot crowd, this match rocked. The production and the lighting and the sound made it feel so raw, so intense, so gritty, complementing a well-done dramatic brawl between Starlight Kid and Saya Kamitani. The Phenex Queen, surrounded by the dark and the raw energy, is absolutely the vibe Stardom Wrestling works the best in. It felt underground. Kid would target the knee throughout the match and force painful wails from Saya when she continuously tortuously locks in the Black Tiger leg kill. While this Star Crusher was the most brutal looking Star Crusher she's ever done. The way she slithers up like a snake demon, it just works. This kick out here, Saya's surprise face, the Black Tiger driver looking brutal, this amazing moonsault near fall, the ending with the big rough blue thunder bomb, the spiraling Star Crusher, and the confident victory. Saya's little celebration for herself here. Oh, she did it her own way. She knows it and revels in it. I love the action in this match, and the aesthetics of the venue complete with the lighting and the 5 bad camera angles just made this a total vibe that completes wrestling in my opinion, and something Stardom needs to do far, far more of. This is the Stardom vibe, my friends, because then the big shows turn into majestic, polished spectacles like Stardom also does so well. The 5-star finale is here. Mirroring her Catch the Wave tournament, she has to once again have a rematch against someone she lost against in the tournament in order to make it to the finals. Saya Kamitani was perfect in this match in my opinion. Her character work was phenomenal. She was booed and immediately reacted with a kiss. Look what I did. Her character work, her Slytherin expressions, her expressions were wonderful. The over-dramatic nature of Saya, like, oh, she's gonna hit me. Oh no! It just fits the snake demon who is just free to exist in there. She seems so much more natural in her movement. The beauty in her flow is less awkward like her Elden Ring combo here that Hanan has to dodge 3 times before getting a hit in. She is free to paint with all the colors of the wind, but choosing an oil black to infect a blight into stardom. But because it's Saya Kamitani, it comes off as an edgy Cradle of Filth goth girl like 2003 Uranium host Julia C. Oh, that's a reference. The match had so much spirit, especially from Hanan. Her acting was subtle. The way she seems like she's gonna cry as she powers into a kick out. That is stuff that's hardly seen. She did so good. Ultimately, Hanan attempted to spam the backdrop driver, and Kamitani would revert to an old small package she used earlier in her career, and then surprise Hanan with her Snap Frankensteiner. This brief moment here, where Saya is not the Phenex Queen, is phenomenal, because watch as she snaps right back into character. Just like that. Saya Kamitani has done it. She has reached the finals of the 5-star. She has won the Catch the Wave tournament, burned Queen's Crest to the ground, and dived into a darker aspect of her soul, all because she believed this is what she needed to do, to be free of it all, to accept the Jungian shadow and truly fly in the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix, where she would face her stardom rival, the gatekeeper of her success, the Empress, Micah. Micah, straight Giga Woman this event. She was Millennia Blade of Mikola. She had not known defeat on her way to the finals to take revenge against this bird demon who cost her the World of Stardom Championship. And more importantly, Micah took Saya in at her lowest. And still, Saya Kamitani deceived her. And immediately, Kamitani is less concerned with seeking approval from the audience than showing who she became to Micah. This is who I am now. I am not that other Saya anymore. Look at me. And then was far more concerned with showing herself off to the large crowd than Micah, like, look how dark I am. And Micah was unable to deal with this different Saya and her chaotic situations. Then this wonderful moment happened that called back to last year's opening 5-star day, where Saya Kamitani injured her wing. Saya has a flashback here, and she's not the Phenex Queen. She's not the Golden Phoenix. She is Saya Kamitani, looking for that personal catharsis for no one else but her, as she screams to the sky for her accomplishment. But once Micah gained control of her power, Saya Kamitani would slowly lose that attitude. No longer concerned with the audience, Saya would slowly regress back to that anxious, frightened girl that lives in her as she fought desperately to come back against Micah, having this beautiful look as she gazes up at this Empress and then folded over with lariats. It was the classic case of the villain's hubris causing their downfall. Indeed, Saya would capture Micah in the Star Crusher and had her pinned, but lifted her up at the last second because she has to show off to everyone that she has changed and doesn't need the old Phoenix. And she does it by trying to recreate her Cinderella victory where she first defeated Micah. Star Crusher into the Phoenix Splash, but her hubris cost her this match 100% as Micah fights her back and delivers a vicious avalanche Michinoku driver that kills Saya Kamitani. She would eventually return and hit the Star Crusher again on Micah and try to pin her, but Micah would kick out this time, and this completely breaks Kamitani. She reverts back to her rookie days with an ear-screeching wail to the gods, screaming Micah's name, losing it all, and despite trying to power back into Saya Kamitani, she must have forgotten. She burned that Phoenix to the ground. Michinoku driver into the final wrist clutch variation onto Saya Kamitani. She lays there with her eyes open, and when the 3 hits, her eyes close as she accepts defeat. Micah has once again prevented Saya Kamitani's ascent to godhood and has won the 2024 5-Star Grand Prix, and for the first time since her change to the dark side, Saya cries, but only singular tears. Didn't work. Nothing she does has worked. This entire journey into the dark descent of the abyss did nothing. Saya Kamitani will not give up. She will travel to hell if she has to. Because this rivalry is not over. Saya Kamitani is a nuanced wrestler to watch, as her Golden Phoenix era was filled with a variety of performances that ranged from goofy and overdramatic to perfection, but her recent darker turn has made all these qualities into wildly good performances. Her story is only going to get darker and more powerful, but where it goes from here is the question. If Saya Kamitani even remotely follows the lore of the Phoenix, someone who fell from grace and is in penance as she waits to return to heaven. To fly again will require atonement, but even if she stays in this role and takes over the leadership of hate, or does other things in this dark depths of the Phenex Queen, or just turns into a middle variant of both, her performances are going to get better. And the one true moment I'll be waiting for is the moment I look forward to in all my favorite acting performances in movies. The moment when a character is taken to the brink of the edge emotionally, whatever emotions that is, be it sadness or madness, take an emotion, push it as far as you can, and then watch the actor topple over like Shelley Duvall did in The Shining. I want to see that breakdown, however subtle or over the top it needs to be. When Saya Kamitani lost the 5-star, you can see the core of her character appear. That ambitious, wide-eyed girl who wanted to be an idol, who danced like a goofball, who was socially awkward, who was unbelievably scared, frightened to fail, filled with anxiety, and just wants to cry because she's not strong enough to handle it. That is Saya Kamitani, and that is incredibly relatable. At least for me, that is. But ultimately, Saya Kamitani is someone with nascency. All her plans and motivations essentially failed to reach their conclusion. She never won the future of Stardom, despite declaring herself as the one. She won the Cinderella but failed her first Wonder Shot. Her Wonder Belt reign was legendary but marred by injury in Shirakawa, and her 5-star journey ended with an unfortunate injury herself. She failed to capture the Red Belt, she lost her lover Utami, she lost her entire family in Queen's Quest, and she lost her high-speed belt to a troll goblin. Of course she snapped. Saya Kamitani is driven by her emotions, and she went the direction she felt she needed to do to escape it. All the anxieties, all the stress, and because it's Saya Kamitani, she didn't turn into Momo Watanabe and get violent. No, she went to Spencer's and used a gift card, damn it. Saya Kamitani is running away. Whether it's out of penance or pure emotion, intentional or not, she will say that this is the real her. But she's deceiving herself, always deceiving herself. And that's what makes Saya Kamitani a great character in fiction, a great character in this world of fictional, performative, combative, dramatic, beautiful art form that is wrestling. A wrestler that can be read on multiple different levels, both in the storytelling and in the sense of myself, while delivering a high, elite caliber of wrestling is a rare sight indeed. Perhaps only one in existence. Like a phoenix.